There was a strong smell of alcohol on him, constantly reminding me that he still went to see Ava yesterday. My emotions still got out of control. I pushed him away, took off my wedding ring and threw it away. He desperately searched for it all day. If soft methods don't work, use tough measures. But I don't want to love him anymore. Ava returned to the country. She deliberately sent me a text message. Vicky, thank you for accompanying Brother Gian through those hard times. Coincidentally, Jonathan is successful in his career. Coincidentally, I am in a cold war with him. Unconsciously, I bit my lower lip. My heart was very uncomfortable. Today is his birthday. I made a cake by myself and wanted to give in first. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Jonathan and Dave lying on the sofa, pulling and tugging. Plop! The cake was smashed to pieces. I slammed the door and left. Jonathan panicked and chased after me. Vicky, it's not what you see. The strong smell of alcohol on him mixed with the pungent perfume smell made me want to vomit. I understand. You just made a mistake that all men make. Go back and continue. Vicky, don't make trouble. I can't lose you. The Didi I called arrived very soon. I was extremely disappointed and too tired to be angry. I'm really tired today. Can you let me go? Jonathan lowered his head. After not seeing him for a few days, his hair seemed to have grown longer again, covering his eyebrows and eyes. He looked tired and his expression was complicated and contradictory. Since he started working, he has become calm and decisive. I haven't seen his confused and helpless expression for a long time. He still let go of my hand and hesitated to speak. I'll take you back to the hotel. The dim night wind blew, making people feel a chill in their hearts. No need. I got into the car. The driver reminded me to fasten my seat belt and started the car. I leaned against the car window. The car window knocked my head and made its way slightly. My heart still ached very much. Probably because I was too devoted to him. He thought I would never leave him. So he didn't explain, but what he doesn't know is that I'm already tired and don't want to love him anymore. I looked at the neon lights outside the window, which slowly turned into blurred lights and shadows. The past also played back scene by scene. There are not many romantic memories between Jonathan and me. What makes me most excited is still the night he saved me. At that time, he didn't know me, but I had a crush on him. That day, after evening self-study, I was followed by a pervert on my way back to the dormitory. Listening to the wretched laughter and the accelerating footsteps behind me, I was extremely scared. Then, just like the male lead in an idol drama, he appeared in time, put his arm around my shoulder, and said with a smile, "Girlfriend, it's so late and you're still wandering around. I'm angry." He escorted me all the way to the dormitory. I didn't sleep well all night. My mind was full of his handsome profile, the two intertwined shadows elongated by the street lamp, and that ambiguous girlfriend. Secret love is a person's chaos. I would even be so nervous that my heart beats faster just by looking at him. But in his eyes, there is only Ava. Although Ava has a good impression of him, she dislikes his poor family background and has been stringing him along. It wasn't until Ava had a rich second-generation boyfriend and went abroad that he gave up. During that time, he neglected his studies, drank to drown his sorrows, and was extremely depressed. Losing Ava made him very painful. I couldn't bear to see him degenerate. So I secretly paid attention to him and encouraged him by writing letters. After graduation, I thought we wouldn't have any intersection anymore. Unexpectedly, we met in the same company. Later, because of work, we spent more and more time together. We ate together, went on business trips to other places together, stayed up late and worked overtime together, and had midnight snacks together. We seemed to be getting closer and closer, and our behavior became more and more ambiguous. We confirmed our relationship at a dinner. That day, a client made improper moves on me and even tore off the button of my white shirt. He fought for me, put his suit jacket on me, and protected me and left gracefully in front of everyone. To please the customer, the manager fired him on the spot. That night, his emotions were extremely unstable. He drank a lot of wine, and his voice trembled. He shouted at the big river, "Why? Just because we have no power, no money, and no background, we have to be bullied and swallow our anger. I must make a name for myself and smash their stinky faces." I was in tears. I hugged him. Two down and out people ate and warmed each other in the cold wind by the river. He confessed to me. There were no sweet words. His eyes were black and bright. "Vicky, be with me. I won't let you down." I cried, held his face, kissed his lips, and agreed to him. The river whined, stirred up emotions, and our hair intertwined. Also that night, we explored each other awkwardly. When our emotions were deep, he kissed my ear and repeated hoarsely, "Vicky, I won't let you down." A wonderful feeling softly seeped out of my heart. I felt very at ease. I hugged him and responded to him with tears. Later, I accompanied him in starting a business. Slowly, we had our own small company. Later, the small company became a big company, and Jonathan also became a big shot in the industry. I thought I was lucky. I could be with a person with regrets in my youth until the end. It wasn't until Ava came back, but I realized how ridiculous I was. Years of companionship can't compete with her copathousness. He became colder and colder to me. He came home later and later, and we talked less and less. Thinking carefully, Jonathan and I didn't have a passionate love period. We were always. Even the love words he said to me were so bland. "Vicky, being with you makes me feel at ease." At that time, I was still very touched. Until I accidentally clicked on his old mobile phone and saw the photos in his album. He once played the guitar for her under the moon. He once made a comb by hand for her. He once lit a heart-shaped candle all over the ground for her. He once stayed up late to write love poems for her. It turns out that he doesn't not understand surprises and romance. He just doesn't want to waste time and energy preparing them for me. Perhaps he has never been attracted to me. Choosing me is just because I am not troublesome and I am wholeheartedly good to him. To the next day, I drove to the company. In fact, I haven't been to the company for a while. Although the company has my share, I don't like managing the company or the company's business. So I hold an idle position. Most of the time, I take care of my own flower shop. When Jonathan saw me, a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. There were light dark circles under his eyes. Obviously, he didn't sleep well last night. "Vicky, why are you here?" I think some things are better to be made clear. The door was knocked, and someone came in to bring tea. A familiar perfume smell also came. I looked at the person bringing tea. Sure enough, it was Ava. This smell is too familiar to me. On countless nights when Jonathan came home late, I smelled it on his suit. At first, I was just guessing. Unexpectedly, long before I discovered it, they had already started an inextricable entanglement. Now she has even been arranged to enter our company. It's extremely ironic. Jonathan's face showed a rare look of panic again. Only in front of his old lover would he show an expression of being at a loss. "Jonathan, you can go out now." Ava pouted, and her delicate and beautiful face had an extra touch of playfulness. "I really can't stand them flirting under my nose." "Wait. Fire her immediately." "Vicky, calm down. I'm already helping her find a job. Now her family has gone bankrupt. She has been abandoned by her boyfriend and owes a lot of foreign debts. We were classmates after all. I just simply want to help her. Almost helping her into bed. And still say it's simple?" I saw Ava suppressing a smile. And when Jonathan looked at her, she showed a pitiful look. Any man who sees it can't help but feel pity. Moreover, she is the moonlight in his heart. Ava said weakly, "Vicky, we were roommates after all. Don't be so relentless. What you saw yesterday was really a misunderstanding. I can explain." "Jonathan, You have two choices. Let her go or I go. Vicky. Don't be so aggressive. You weren't like this before. He showed this expression of being in a dilemma again. Suddenly, it was as if a basin of cold water had been poured on my head. Disappointment made me surprisingly calm. After so many years of companionship, I can only occupy a place in his heart. But I can never become his preference. He will never choose me without hesitation. Perhaps my eyes looking at him were too cold. He finally compromised and fired Deva. But I know that she didn't lose and I didn't win either. 3. Jonathan. Before I could finish my words, I was blocked by something soft. In the past, every time we had a fight, he would use this way. Domineering yet gentle. He would start to show weakness. He would hold me and soften his tone to coax me. Promise me. Never say those two words. This time, his eyes were red. Vicky. I'm sorry. I will handle this matter well. Give me some time. Okay? That day was really an accident. She was drunk and unconscious. I was going to push her away. You just came back. Vicky. I can't live without you. Don't look at me like this. It makes me very uncomfortable. At this moment, looking at him like this, I felt no waves in my heart. I even found it ridiculous. In the past, I always looked at him. When I saw him happy, I would be happy too. When I saw him sad, I was even sadder than him. I always tried to enter his world, but he never took the initiative to share his joys and sorrows with me. At the beginning of starting a business, in order to accumulate contacts, get orders and develop business, he was very desperate. He always didn't eat on time. When he was sick, he ignored it. He drank a lot of alcohol every day and often raveled on business, working day and night in reverse. I knew he was under a lot of pressure. It was not easy for him to struggle alone. I also wanted to share his burden. But he never told me. He would only say don't worry. But how could I not worry? Every time I saw him vomiting in the toilet for a long time and smoking impatiently on the balcony, I could only stand behind him, constantly speculating about his situation, feeling uneasy and losing sleep all night long. Perhaps if Ava hadn't reappeared, I would have been tired of him long ago. I pushed him away and still made up my mind. Let's break up. The wedding is also cancelled. My best friend Luna heard about what happened to me and hurriedly found me. We found a coffee shop downstairs of the company. As soon as we sat down, Luna started scolding. I really misjudged. I didn't expect Jonathan to be so scumbag. He's about to get married and still has an entanglement with another woman. This matter can't be left like this. That shameless woman. Ava. Right? See how I deal with her. Vicky. Don't worry. I will definitely help you get this anger out. I broke up with him. Breaking up. Breaking up is good. What? You just said you broke up. Vicky. If you break up now, isn't it just what they want? It's too much. When you were with him at the beginning, he was penniless. Without you, how could he be so successful? Even if you want to break up, you can't let him off so easily. Ava appeared so inopportunely. She didn't see me. With a few of her friends, she just sat at the table behind us. Ava, you are really amazing. I heard you have a rich boyfriend again. Ava showed off complacently. He and I are college classmates. He had a crush on me back then. But I didn't like him. Unexpectedly. After so many years. He still can't forget me. Ava. You are so charming. I'm really envious. If it weren't for seeing that he is doing well now, I couldn't possibly go back to him. Ava. Are you with him because he is rich? The few of them laughed knowingly and the laughter was very harsh to my ears. I took the coffee and poured it on her head. The black liquid flowed down from her hair, like disgusting worms crawling on her face. Ava screamed. Vicky. Are you crazy? I think you are the one who is crazy. Destroying other people's feelings is something to show off. Jonathan, what are you doing? Ava, brother Gian. She bullied me. What a coincidence. Jonathan still appeared so timely. For Ava threw herself into Jonathan's arms aggrievely and rubbed against his chest. The clean shirt was stained with coffee-colored stains and looked very dirty. His hand was still on her shoulder. He was reluctant to push her away, but looked at me with an incredulous look. I seemed to hear that sentence he said again. Vicky. Don't be so aggressive. You weren't like this before. Every word was like a needle, densely pricking my heart. Jonathan. In 7 years. Have you really understood me? Walking out of the coffee shop, I suddenly felt nauseous. I held onto the corner of the wall and etched. But nothing came out. Luna patted my back gently. Vicky. What's wrong with you? I felt uncomfortable and couldn't say a word. I just shook my head. Luna worried. You're not pregnant. Are you? Otherwise. Let's go to the hospital and see. Jonathan chased out. Seeing the stain on his shirt, the feeling of nausea that I had finally suppressed surged up again, and I couldn't stop retching. He picked me up horizontally. I beat him like crazy. But he didn't let go at all. Luna was anxious and blocked in front. What are you doing? Put Vicky down quickly. Jonathan's voice was cold without warmth. If you don't want her to be in trouble, don't stop me. He put me in the car and fastened my seatbelt. I only felt a chill all over. I looked at him numbly and only said one word. Dirty. The doctor said that I am more than 2 months pregnant. I bit my lower lip. A sweet and fishy taste spread. A chill spread from my heart to my whole body. My child. You really came at the wrong time. It was raining heavily outside. The raindrops were like broken beads, constantly falling and pattering against the window. When I woke up, looking at the dim indoor light, I had a moment of trance. I remembered the first time I proposed breaking up. It was also in the hospital. But the person lying on the sickbed was Jonathan. He finally fell ill due to high-intensity work. First, he had a high fever, then gastric bleeding, and was in a coma for a long time. Watching him lying pale on the sickbed and not waking up, I was also worried and frightened. All the grievances, sadness, and uneasiness mixed together and erupted in an instant, crushing my fragile nerves. I had clearly said that he should smoke less, drink less, not stay up late, eat on time, and when sick, don't drag it out but go see a doctor. But he just wouldn't listen. He thought his body was made of iron. He didn't tell me anything and always tried to be brave. As a result, he dragged out a serious illness. After his condition improved, I proposed breaking up. I thought I could say those 2 words very calmly. But when I really said them, I covered my face and broke down crying. Jonathan hugged me and stroked my back, coaxing in my ear. Vicky. It's okay. Don't cry. It's all my fault. I made you worry. I promise there won't be a next time. At that time, I still loved this man deeply. But he gradually exhausted all my expectations of him. Sometimes I think that Jonathan may never have loved me. It's just that there has never been a person by his side who loves him as purely as I do. Jonathan. We have broken up. I don't want to see you again. Hearing my voice, Jonathan suddenly raised his head. His hair was tousled. His hands were trembling. His eyes were red. And his eyes were full of red blood vessels. Was he crying? He carefully took my hand and pressed it against his glabella. At the moment of contact, he buried his head again, and his shoulders trembled uncontrollably. I felt a wetness in my palm. He was crying. He has always been very calm and restrained. But at this moment he was crying like a helpless child. I don't understand why he would show such sadness. What's the point? I am only disappointed in him now. Jonathan's voice was hoarse. I don't agree. I said that I can't live without you. I will definitely not let go. I'm sorry. I was wrong. I sneered. Jonathan. Do you know? Now when I see you crying, I just find it ridiculous. 5 originally. I felt that there was nothing serious with my body and wanted to be discharged from the hospital immediately. But Jonathan wouldn't allow it. He insisted that I stay in the hospital for a few days. I was listless and couldn't resist him. So I had to lie down and turn my back to him. Jonathan busied himself taking care of me, covering me with a quilt, pouring me water, and peeling fruit for me. Like a dog that has done something wrong, he drooped his head to please me. But I didn't want to talk to him. I sent a message to Luna and asked her to pick me up. Then, taking advantage of the gap when Jonathan went out to make a phone call, I escaped. When Jonathan found out, he chased after me and was stopped by a tall boy. I got into Luna's car. She raised her eyebrows at me. How is it? I brought my brother. Reliable, right? The car started slowly. Jonathan was getting farther and farther away from me. Hearing desperately but still couldn't catch up. The sky was gray and it started raining again. The rain hit the car window. And the figure in the rain became more and more blurred. Vicky. Are you okay? I shook my head. Luna was worried about me and took me to her home. She also prepared a table of delicious food for me. Although I didn't have much appetite, I was still very touched. Luna is so virtuous. Whoever marries you in the future will be extremely lucky. Come on. I don't want to get married. Don't curse me. I picked up a piece of braised pork, just when I wanted to eat it in big mouthfuls. Suddenly I felt nauseous. I ran to the bathroom and vomited so much that it was chaotic. Luna was worried and cried. Vicky. What's wrong with you? But I was very calm. It's nothing. I'm just pregnant. The pale yellow night light lit up the room slightly. Luna and I lay flat on the bed together, looking at the ceiling and starting to chat aimlessly. We seemed to be back in the carefree days of college. At this time, the mobile phone showed a message reminder. I originally thought it was Jonathan and didn't want to pay attention to it. When I clicked it open, it was a message from Ava. I really thank you for giving Brother Gian back to me. She also sent a photo. In the photo, Jonathan was so drunk that he was lying on the table. Ava kissed his side face and looked at the camera with eyes full of proud smiles. She was provoking me. She didn't seem to know that I was no longer the easily bullied Vicky back then. Pregnancy made me rebellious. A feeling of anger rose from my lower abdomen. I hate Jonathan. I hate Ava. I want to take revenge on them. Jonathan and I had once signed a breakup agreement. He may have forgotten. In order to prevent Ava from coming back and interfering, I specially added a clause. If Jonathan and Dava got back together, he would voluntarily transfer all his property to me. At that time, he still laughed at me for being jealous for no reason. He signed the agreement quickly. Now it's useless to regret it. However, to prevent Jonathan from going back on his word, I must collect more evidence of him being with Ava. Vicky, what's wrong with you? I've decided. I want to bring Jonathan and Dava together. Vicky, don't scare me. Luna looked confused. She put her palm on my forehead and thought I had a fever and burned my brain too. I told her about the breakup agreement. Only then did she give me a thumbs up and praise me. It seems that I underestimated you. There is still a backup plan. I will definitely help with this matter. In the future, you will be a little rich woman. Don't forget me. The two of us racked our brains and thought of a bunch of nasty tricks. We scolded them both and felt refreshed both physically and mentally. The next day, I got up early to prepare to implement the plan. When I opened the door, I saw Jonathan. He was sitting on the ground leaning against the wall with his legs bent. His head was buried in his crossed hands. His tall figure was curled up like a child who had been abandoned. He looked so sad and lonely. Hearing the sound of the door opening, he looked up at me. His eyes were drooping. A man in his early 30s looked pitiful. Why are you here? He suddenly stood up and hugged me tightly. His voice was still hoarse and trembling. Vicky, it was so hard for me to find you. Don't leave me. Okay? I really know I was wrong. The strong smell of alcohol on him always reminded me that he went to find Dava yesterday. My emotions still got out of control. I pushed him away with all my strength, took off the ring on my ring finger, and threw it into the distance in front of him. The ring quickly drew an arc in the air and disappeared from sight. Jonathan. Between you and me. Just like that lost ring. It can never be found again. It can be found. Jonathan searched all the way in the direction where I threw it. 6. I thought he would give up soon. Because the community is so big and the ring is so small, the probability of finding it is extremely slim. He never wastes time and energy on meaningless things. But to my surprise, he searched all day and didn't give up. Looking at him walking unsteadily and about to faint at any moment, I still couldn't bear it. Don't look anymore. You won't find it. Go away. If something happens to you, I won't be responsible. Jonathan seemed not to hear, forcing himself to hold on, muttering, "It will definitely be found." As it got darker and darker, if it could be found, it would really be a miracle. I was too lazy to care about him anymore and turned around and left. Found it, Jonathan exclaimed. He excitedly took my hand. He had a strong grip. I couldn't pull my hand back no matter what. I could only watch him put the ring back on my ring finger. So what if you find it? I can still throw it away again. How dare you? When I wanted to throw it away again, my hand was controlled by him. He then picked me up horizontally. I resisted. I originally wanted to push him away. But in the panic, I scratched his face. The scratch extended from under his eye to his jaw, oozing blood beads. Just like a trail of bloody tears. Looking at that long scratch, I felt very uncomfortable and calmed down. He was not angry either. His tone softened. "Vicky, don't make trouble. Otherwise, you will get hurt." Luna rushed over and wanted to save me, but was scared into immobility by Jonathan's glance. That glance was full of paranoid possessiveness. The night wind was slightly cool, and I shivered. Jonathan took off his coat and covered me. He carried me into the car. I turned my face away and didn't look at him, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw that hideous scar. After getting off the car, he was afraid that I would run away and carried me the whole time. I wanted to get down and walk by myself, but he wouldn't allow it. His grip was still so strong that I couldn't break free at all. When entering the elevator, everyone was looking at us. I felt embarrassed and buried my face under his coat, but heard his almost inaudible laughter. After entering the house, he put me on the sofa and squatted beside me. That bloodstain made his eyes look even more sad. "It doesn't matter if you don't forgive me. You can hit me and scold me, but you can't leave me. Crazy. Soft methods don't work." Now he wants to keep me by his side by using tough means. "The custom-made wedding dress is ready. We will try it on tomorrow. Our wedding will take place as scheduled." "Why? You clearly like Ava. Can't you just leave me alone?" "No. Vicky. I love you." Hearing such a serious confession from him for the first time, I didn't react for a moment. "Anyway, I will not marry you. Marry whoever you want." At night, I had a nightmare. In the dream, Jonathan and I walked arm in arm into the wedding hall. It was a very festive atmosphere, but Jonathan's eyes looking at me were very sad. I felt a warm current flowing out from my abdomen. The pure white wedding dress was stained red with blood. My hands were full of blood. Everything I could see was red. I panicked. It was very painful. I wanted to scream, but couldn't say a word. The whole person fell backward weightlessly. I woke up in a cold sweat and found the pillow empty. Jonathan leaned on the balcony, looking at the pitch-black night. The little scarlet at the fingertip flickered on and off. He smoked one cigarette after another. The faint moonlight sketched a sad and heavy silhouette. Suddenly, I had a bad premonition. 7. The morning sun shone on me. I opened my eyes vaguely and saw Jonathan's peaceful sleeping face. Unconsciously, my hand traced the outline of his facial features and finally stopped at the scratch. Will he be sad and regretful if he loses me? In the gap when I was in a daze, Jonathan suddenly held my hand. I wanted to break free. But he didn't give me a chance. He held my hand and interlocked our fingers. He looked at me gently with his eyes and finally left a gentle kiss on my forehead and got out of bed. Jonathan can't cook. But today he is cooking himself and is busy in the kitchen. When he brought out breakfast, I saw that he had burns on his hand. All of this gave me a sense of unreality. We can't go back. There's no need to deceive ourselves. The fried egg is broken. I'll fry another one. Looking at his clumsy and busy figure in the kitchen, I touched my stomach and thought of the unborn child. And there was a hint of wavering in my heart. At this time, Luna sent a message. Vicky, are you okay? Don't be soft-hearted again. Regarding the breakup agreement you mentioned to me before, I consulted a lawyer friend. Unless it is implemented voluntarily by both parties, it has no legal effect. Don't be deceived by him. I know this too. It's just that I'm not sure now how much of what Jonathan said can still be believed. Jonathan wants to take me to try on the wedding dress. I don't want to go. He explained a lot to me. He said that he went to find Ava only because she has the same rare blood type as me. He hopes that Ava can provide me with a blood source when I need it. He has never said so many words. He repeatedly assured me that there is only me in his heart and begged me to forgive him. I interrupted him. Jonathan, if you want me to marry you, fine. As long as you transfer all your assets to my name, I will consider it. I deliberately made things difficult for him to make him back off. I also have my own selfish motives. I really want to know to what extent Jonathan can do to win me back in for our unborn child. He almost didn't hesitate. I am willing to use everything I have as a betrothal gift. I don't understand why this time he would choose me so firmly. I finally put on the wedding dress I've dreamed of. The wedding dress is really beautiful. Pure and flawless. With the hem trailing on the ground. I have imagined countless times putting it on and becoming Jonathan's bride. When the curtain was opened, under the soft light, I saw Jonathan holding flowers in his hands. Behind him was a scene decorated with flowers, candles and balloons. Jonathan's eyes reddened and his voice choked. Vicky, will you marry me? Everything is very dreamy and romantic. Just like what I have imagined countless times. However, now I can't be happy at all. Suddenly, a warm current gushed out of my nose. The whole world was spinning crazily. I felt so sick that I wanted to vomit. But I couldn't vomit anything. When I was in a daze, I saw Jonathan nervously hugging me. When I woke up, I was already in the hospital. The first person I saw was actually Ava. She didn't have her usual arrogance. Although she was wearing makeup, it couldn't cover up her fatigue. What are you doing here? It's all your fault. You're so poor that you had to sell blood. I heard that you were hospitalized. So I came to see if you were dead. Ava continued to talk to herself. Vicky, I heard that you and Jonathan signed an agreement. Just now. I also signed one with him. Curious, right? I won't tell you. This is our secret. Jonathan told me that you two are going to get married. Then I wish you good health and a long life. Finally, I'll give you a word of warning. Be careful of Jonathan. Jonathan pushed the door in and Ava was startled. But Jonathan became very uneasy. What are you doing here? What did you say to Vicky? Nothing. I just came to explain the misunderstanding. Hey, don't pull me. It hurts. Okay. I'll go. The ward was instantly quiet. I turned my back and didn't look at him. Vicky, after we get married, we'll go to Weishu Island. You've always wanted to go there. It's all my fault that I haven't had time. It's all my fault. From now on, wherever you want to go, we'll go there. Weishu Island, a volcanic island guarded by whales, has beautiful scenery and romantic legends. I've always wanted to go there with Jonathan. I want to hold hands with him, walk on the beach, look at the blue sea, feel the gentle sea breeze, watch the sunrise and sunset, and experience the charm of this island. But Jonathan was too busy. So we never made it. Which became my regret. Facing Jonathan's initiative proposal, I still didn't respond to him. All I could think about was the last sentence Ava said, "Be careful of Jonathan." Thinking carefully. Since I decided to leave Jonathan, Jonathan seems to have changed. In the past, when we had a Cold War, he would never come to me at the first time. He was used to waiting for me to go back to him. When he wanted to do something or make a decision, he seldom discussed and explained it with me, or had heart-to-heart talks with me. But now he cares very much about my feelings and pays attention to my preferences. He is a very rational person. But recently, every night, he always becomes very sad. He hugs me from behind and confesses and explains the mistakes he made over and over again in my ear. As if he were afraid that I would leave in the next second. At this time, he took out the guitar that had been dust-covered for a long time, lit a warm yellow night light, and sang a love song for me by the moonlight. I wasn't touched at all. Instead, I was very surprised. He once said that playing the guitar would remind him of unpleasant things. But now he is willing to do it for me. Everything he does now is what I once hoped he would do for me. For some things, I haven't even told him. But it seems that he has already seen through what I was thinking. Jonathan seems to attach too much importance to me. Taking advantage of the gap when he went to take a bath, I looked through his phone. The password hadn't changed, and the chat records were normal. Am I being overly suspicious? Accidentally, I clicked on the browser. A historical search record made my heart rise to my throat instantly. How to treat early psychogenic paranoid psychosis. My mother was killed by this disease. I have a deep hostility and fear towards it. I felt my head was swollen and painful. Groggy. I had that strange dream again. In the dream, I saw Jonathan curled up by the bed, looking through a light brown diary, and then hugging it tightly to his chest, hanging his head, shaking, and crying uncontrollably. I was very curious about what he was looking at and why he was so sad. I wanted to touch him, but my body was transparent, and he couldn't see me. After waking up, I didn't come to my senses for a long time. I felt very confused. Suddenly, I didn't know who I was, where I was, or what I was doing until I saw the light brown diary on the table. It was exactly the same as the one Jonathan was hugging in my dream. I turned the pages one by one. It was my handwriting, but I didn't remember writing it. August 16, 2022. Ava returned to the country. Jonathan came home later and later. He should have gone to find her. I haven't talked to him all day. He still doesn't know that I'm angry. Why, after so many years, Jonathan still can't forget her? So sad. So wronged. So want to cry. August 17, 2022. I had a fight with Jonathan. In fact, only I was yelling. He didn't respond to me. This feeling is like you hit cotton with all your strength. We had a Cold War. I felt so disappointed. August 20, 2022. Today is Jonathan's birthday. I made a cake and wanted to celebrate his birthday. But when I returned to our home, I saw him and Dava lying on the sofa. They seemed to be kissing. The cake was smashed all over the floor. My heart twitched violently, and there was no feeling of pain. He still didn't explain or smiling. Completely disappointed. All my strength seemed to be drained little by little. Jonathan, I really don't want to love you anymore. The content of the diaries in the front is exactly the same as what I experienced. But the ones later are completely different. The diary says that Jonathan thought I couldn't live without him. So he still didn't come to find me. He didn't come to ask for a reconciliation. Didn't look for my lost wedding ring. Didn't cook breakfast for me personally. Didn't take me to try on wedding dresses. Didn't prepare a romantic proposal for me. And didn't plan to take me to see the sea on Weiju Island. In the diary, I will die. A sense of fear crept all over my body. My head was so painful that it was about to split. I screamed in fear. Jonathan kicked open the door. He hugged me and comforted me. I held the diary and asked him, "What is this?" He hid the diary and was very panicked. "Vicky, what you see is not true. Forget them. We will live a happy and beautiful life." "Vicky, calm down and look at me. I am very confused now." Jonathan's mental state is also very confused. He murmured to himself, "Why? Why is it still like this?" I took the opportunity to push him away, opened the door, and ran out. Jonathan chased after me. There was a continuous flow of traffic on the road. I heard Jonathan shouting heartbreakably at me, "Vicky, I beg you, stand still. I won't chase you anymore." I calmed down and stood on the sidewalk, looking at Jonathan across the dim street lamp. It seemed that there was a very long distance between us. The content of the diary emerged in my mind bit by bit. Jonathan walked towards me step by step. Suddenly, there was a sizzling sound that pierced the eardrum, and the bright headlights were dazzling. A car still lost control and slammed into me. I was so frightened that I closed my eyes. In my ears was Jonathan's desperate cry, but I didn't feel any pain. After a long time, I slowly opened my eyes and saw a girl in a pure white wedding dress lying in a pool of blood in front of me. Her hand was still protecting her stomach, and her eyes were so sad. Jonathan knelt in front of the girl, his trembling hand wanting to touch the girl but stopping in my dread. At a loss. Then he hugged his head and cried bitterly. "Why can't it still be changed? Why?" The bride lying in a pool of blood was me. It started pouring rain. Jonathan covered his eyes and raised his head, allowing the rain to mercilessly beat on his body. The deepest grief is often silent. I remembered everything. It turned out that I had inherited the same terrifying disease as my mother. It turned out that I had really died. I died in an accidental car accident and in front of Jonathan. The content of the diary emerged in my mind again. September 15, 2022. I was really sick. It wasn't a terminal illness, but it was more fatal than a terminal illness. Looking at the confirmed medical record, I felt like I had been sentenced to death and was pulled into an abyss. All that was left was endless despair. Today was supposed to be my and Jonathan's wedding, but I still backed out. Wearing a wedding dress, I walked dejectedly on the street. Pedestrians cast strange glances at me one after another. Some laughed, and some sympathized. But for me, those things were no longer important. I seemed to have lost all five senses, with only tears flowing unstoppably. My mother had this disease. She had delusions and hallucinations. She always suspected that my father was cheating, and that we hated her. She became eccentric and moody, had a tendency to self-harm, and even vented her resentment on me and my younger brother. She lived in great pain every day, and we were also tortured. In the end, she still chose to commit suicide and ended her tragic life. And it was only after her death that we learned that she had this disease and lived in guilt. At that time, I always thought that if we had found out that Mom was sick earlier and been more understanding of her, perhaps she would have improved and there would have been a different ending. But now, when I really have this disease, I just feel that life is worse than death. I don't even know when I will have an attack. I don't know what I see and hear, what is real and what is false. I don't want to torture the people I love. I don't want to be regarded as a lunatic by others. I don't want my children to repeat the same mistakes in the future. I squatted under the big banyan tree and broke down crying. Jonathan found me. He ran very hurriedly and was still panting. He looked at me very worriedly. I looked up and asked him blankly and aggrieved lie. "Jonathan, why me? Why did I get this terrible disease?" Jonathan hesitated to speak. He was not good at comforting people. He hugged me, his voice choking. He told me not to worry. He would definitely find a way to cure my disease. Why? Why did I get this disease? Why didn't you tell me when you knew? Vicky, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Doctor. Mr. Jian's heart rate has suddenly dropped. The situation is very dangerous. Jonathan was lying on the hospital bed, his face pale. wearing an oxygen mask, and unconscious. He had been in a coma for several days. The doctor couldn't find the cause. The situation deteriorated rapidly, and everyone was at a loss. Outside the ward, several nurses were gathered together discussing. I heard that Mr. Jian's fiancé was hit and killed by a car. At that time, she was still pregnant with a child. Maybe it was caused by excessive grief and severe mental trauma. It's because he is unwilling to accept reality that he is unwilling to wake up. I heard that Mr. Jian has another woman and wants her to abort the child in her belly. She can't accept it. That's why she lost control of her emotions and was hit by a car when she rushed out. It's so pitiful. No. Mr. Jian's fiancé has psychogenic paranoid psychosis. It's because she has mental problems and is in poor health that Mr. Jian had to persuade her to abort the child. Alas. Ava hurriedly found a hypnotist. There was no other way. She held Jonathan's hand and cried very sadly. Vicky is already dead. How long are you going to deceive yourself? You can't just die like this. You can't be so selfish. Think about your parents. Do you really have the heart to let them send off their black-haired child with white hair? Jonathan. It's all my fault. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Wake up quickly. Please. It turns out that I am in Jonathan's dream. Our story is repeated in the dream. Jonathan desperately wants to change the ending. But in the end, nothing can be changed. Because all of this is false. After I died, I became a soul. And my memory became incomplete. I used to hear my mother-in-law say that after a person dies, the soul still stays in the world because there are regrets left unfulfilled. I should have many regrets. So I have been following Jonathan all the time. Jonathan cried like a helpless child. All these years. It's my fault. I got used to your kindness to me but didn't pay attention to your true thoughts. I didn't know what you really wanted. I didn't even know you were sick. I was really wrong. Vicky, you said that you would come back. The wind blew open the notebook, and the rain wet the pages. It stopped on the last page, which had my last wish written on it. I want to go to Weishu Island with Jonathan. Jonathan seemed to sense something and turned his head. He seemed to see me. His face was indistinguishable between rain and tears. Jonathan, let's go to Weishu Island. My words made Jonathan collapse again instantly. He covered his face and cried bitterly. We strolled on the beach, watching the orange sunset and the blue sea complement each other. The sea breeze blew our hair. As night fell, we saw the fluorescent sea. So beautiful. Unfortunately, I can't see it anymore. I felt very tired and leaned on Jonathan's shoulder. Jonathan, there are still many places I haven't been to. Many things I haven't done. I haven't had enough chocolate cake. The plate a kid and nest planted on the balcony. I also don't have the chance to see them bloom. We still have a lot of time. No matter what you want to do, I will accompany you. But I have to go. And you should go back too. Jonathan tightened his arms in fear and held me even tighter. No. I finally found you. Vicky. You can't be so cruel. Jonathan. I like romance very much. But you are really so boring. You never prepare any surprises for me. I am also afraid of being alone. But you come back so late every night. I can only wait until the food gets cold, and until the lights outside the window go out one by one. You always don't tell me anything, and let me guess and worry. I'm afraid that something will happen to you. I'm afraid that you will suddenly leave me. Jonathan. Have you ever loved me? Vicky. I love you. But I don't want to love you anymore. My voice grew weaker and weaker, and my body became more and more transparent. Leaning on Jonathan's shoulder, I felt Jonathan's tears constantly dripping on my face. The heart seemed to be tightly clenched by a hand. So painful that there was no feeling. I looked at the full moon in the sky. Bright and clear, with countless stars all over the sky. The waves glowed fluorescently and surged in the sea breeze. I closed my eyes. listening to the intertwined sounds of the wind and the waves, feeling all this unreality. In the end, it's so great to be able to have such a beautiful dream. Hypnosis really works. Mr. Jian's condition is stable. The doctors and nurses in the ward all breathed a sigh of relief. When Jonathan woke up, he looked blankly at everything around him, then closed his eyes blankly again, and tears flowed out inadvertently. 9. Jonathan's side story. I had a very long dream. In the dream, I saw Vicky again. I thought I had traveled back in time. I thought I could win back Vicky and make up for all the mistakes I had made. I thought I could change the tragedy. But, in the end, nothing could be changed. After waking up, I felt an empty heart. The world seemed to be only in black and white. On the day of Vicky's burial, it didn't rain. It was a sunny day. Her favorite weather. I went to her funeral but was driven out. Vicky's younger brother beat me up. He punched me one punch after another. I didn't fight back. I just begged them to let me see Vicky off for the last time. The physical pain was less than 1/10,000th of the heartache. He grabbed my collar and angrily questioned me. Why didn't you take good care of my sister? If it weren't for you, my sister wouldn't have died. Leo was pulled away. I collapsed on the ground. The sunlight became dazzling. I didn't have the strength or courage to stand up and just lay on the cold floor. Ava came to help me, but I pushed her away. She cried, sobbing incoherently. They don't know anything at all. Why blame you? Her death was clearly an accident. Why don't you say anything? She was sick, mentally confused, and had delusions and hallucinations. It was she who misunderstood you again and again. You asked her to abort the child also to save her. You looked for me, because both she and I have rare blood types. Jonathan, you didn't do anything wrong. Don't torture yourself anymore. No. From the beginning to the end, I was completely wrong. I was too self-righteous. I thought I was giving her the best. But I never asked what she wanted. It was because I didn't give her a sense of security that her condition worsened. Go away. Don't see each other again. I went to work and came back as usual. Time continued to pass and didn't stop for anyone. I didn't come home late anymore. On my way home from work, I bought the chocolate cake that Vicky loved the most. In fact, she was easily satisfied and always ate it happily. But now, when I come home, it's empty. Even the air is cold. She will never come back again. I found the box that I had hidden a long time ago. Inside, there were neatly placed the letters that Vicky wrote to me back then. She thought I became listless because of Ava's abandonment. In fact, it wasn't. During that time, my beloved grandpa passed away. I was really sad. It was by relying on these letters she wrote to me that I got through those difficult days. I always knew that it was she who was silently watching me. She always had a habit when writing. She would put extra emphasis on the last stroke. It was so recognizable. She still thought I didn't know. After graduating and being able to see her, I knew this was our fate. I didn't want to miss her again. I always wanted to have a home with her and provide her with good living conditions. I didn't want to see her being bullied again. So when I started my business, I worked very hard. But I had no power, no influence, and no network resources. For ordinary people to change their destiny, they really have to give up too many things. Every time I was forced to drink and humiliated, I could only endure. Every day I was under great pressure, and my temper became very bad. Even I despised myself. But I didn't want to pass on my negative emotions to her or make her worry. So most of the time, I chose to be silent and bear it alone. It wasn't until I saw her diary that I realized that I had been completely wrong all along. Big mistakes. Those things that I thought were good for her were, to her, injuries again and again and the accumulation of continuous disappointments. Later, she got sick and became sensitive and irritable. But I still didn't notice her emotional changes. I didn't know she was sick and still didn't give her the sense of security she wanted. I owed her so much. Vicky said that she didn't want to love me anymore. And she never came to my dream again. Time began to pass very slowly. And it seemed like many years had passed. I would go to see her at her grave every year, brush off the dust on the tombstone for her, and place a bunch of newly blooming bellflowers. She said she was afraid of being alone. So I accompanied her from sunrise to sunset. Wrinkles began to appear at the corners of my eyes. My hair began to turn gray. And my health became worse and worse. There was a photo of Vicky hanging on the wall. I took it by chance. She was squatting at the door of the flower shop, stroking a tabby cat. Looking up and seeing me. Her eyes were full of smiles that were about to overflow. Vicky in the photo is still so young and beautiful. When I closed my eyes, Vicky's voice, appearance, and smile appeared in my mind again. That night, I finally dreamed of her. We returned to our college days and the first time we met. I saw her being followed by a drunkard. I quickly walked forward, put my arm around her shoulder, and deliberately said loudly, "Girlfriend, it's so late, and you're still wandering around. I'm angry." She wasn't very shy. Instead, she gave me a good beating. The corners of her mouth rose. And she said playfully, "You still know I'm your girlfriend. Why are you so late?" "I'm angry. You can't coax me."